Hello students, welcome to aimsindia online classes. This is a chemistry session. Here we are discussing separation of substances chapter. In this session we are going to say practice sheet 2 related to this chapter. In the practice sheet 1 we have seen different conceptual understanding questions and single character answer type questions. Here in this session 2 we are going to have face different kinds of questions like multi-character answer, comprehension, matrix matching, analytical approach. These all kinds of questions we are going to see in this practice sheet. Okay, let us start the practice sheet. So first, multi-correct answer type questions. Here the questions may contain one or more than one correct answers. So choose wisely, read the question and answer carefully. See the first question. Why the separation of components of a mixture is essential? Why it is essential? Why do we need to separate the components of a mixture? What is the necessity? Here they have given some statements. Let us see those. To remove the unwanted components. Is it true? Yes. For example, if you take rice and some stones present in that. Before cooking the rice, what do our mothers do? They will separate the stones present in the rice. That is removing unwanted components from the useful components. So this is essential. Next, to separate harmful components. Yes, this is also one of the important cause for the separation of components of a mixture. Sometimes the material may contain some harmful components in that. Those should be separated before using that. So it is also one reason for separation. To obtain the pure substance or pure and useful component. Yes, it is also one of the important cause. Suppose if you take sand and some stones present in that. Actually, sand is useful for the construction purpose, but stones to be separated from that. So pure sand should be collected before using for construction. So the stones should be separated from it. So pure substance separation is important. Even water also. Before drinking, pure water should be separated from the all impurities present in it. So it is also, we can say, as one of the important cause for the separation of mixtures. So what do we can say now? These are the essential reasons for the separation of mixtures. So these three are correct. Got it? Next question. Which techniques are useful for the separation of solid liquid mixtures? So which techniques we can use for the separation of solid liquid mixtures? You see here they have given 4 separation techniques. Out of these 4, which can be used for the separation of solid and liquid mixtures? You see, first one, you see the technique given, sedimentation and decantation. Where do we use this separation technique called sedimentation and decantation? For the separation of solid insoluble substance from the liquid. So solid liquid mixture can be separated by using this sedimentation decantation. For example, chalk powder dissolved in the water or mixed in the water can be separated by using this sedimentation. Chalk powder or sand. What happens if it is the mixture is allowed for some time without disturbing? Complete chalk powder or sand will settle down at the bottom of the container. That we call as sedimentation. Then pure liquid will be separated into another container slowly by bending the container. That we call as decantation. So there we are separating a solid component from the liquid component. Okay, this is correct. Next one, winnowing. Where do we use this winnowing? To separate the lighter weight particles from the heavyweight particles, just like the gravity method. So, for example, husk present in the grains is separated by using this winnowing process. They pour the mixture from certain height by using flat plates. Then the lighter weight husk particles will be blown away because of air and will be fallen as a heap at separate certain distance. Whereas grain particles being heavier, they fall down directly and forms a separate heap. In this way, lighter weight husk is separated from the heavier weight grain particles by the technique called winnowing. Here if you observe, both grain and husk, both are solid components. So it is not a technique used for separation of solid and liquid mixture. Next one, evaporation. Where do we use this evaporation? Generally for the separation of dissolved solid substances from the liquid. For example, if you say salt water, salt will be dissolved in the water. When you keep this salt water in the sunlight or if you heat it, what happens then? Water will be evaporated off. Solid salt will be remain down, isn't it? So here what we are separating, solid salt substance from the liquid water. Solid liquid mixture is separated by using evaporation. So this is also one of the techniques. What about next, filtration? Where do we use this filtration? Filtration is used for the separation of insoluble solid substances from the liquid. For example, sand and water, let us take once again. Sand can be separated from the water by pouring the mixture through a porous material like filter paper. What happens then? Pure water will come down and will be collected into another container. Sand will be remained in the filter paper. Now here pure liquid obtained in is called filtrate, and that solid substance remained in the filter paper is called residue. That process is called filtration. So in this filtration we are separating solid component from the liquid component. So this also will come under as correct answer. In these three processes we are separating solid liquid mixtures. Okay. Now what will be correct answer? A.C.D. Next, which of the following is or magnetic substances? Say the substances which will be attracted by the magnet are called magnetic material. Iron, nickel, steel, chromium, these all will come under magnetic material because they will be attracted towards the magnets. Whereas wood won't be attracted with the magnet, so it is called non-magnetic material. Wood, plastic, rubber, these all rocky material, these won't be attracted by the magnet, so they are called non-magnetic. Whereas the remaining, if you see here, iron, nickel, steel, these all are attracted by the magnet, hence they are called magnetic substances. Okay. Next, next question. Which of the following substances are separated by centrifugation? What is centrifugation method? In the centrifugation method, the solid dissolved in liquid suspension material mixture is taken into some container like test tube and will be kept in a machine. That machine will whirl these test tubes at very high speed so that the solid suspensions present in the mixture will be settled at the bottom of the container and the liquid will be coming at the top layer. This technique is called centrifugation. Generally, this centrifugation technique is used for the separation of blood samples and even for the separation of cream from the milk. Okay, blood and milk are separated by using centrifugation technique. Okay, next question. So now we are going to see here comprehension type questions. So first let us see the paragraph given here. Based upon the paragraph given, they give some questions. Let us see them later. First see the paragraph given. Taking out useful substances from a mixture is usually the main reason for separation of substances. Yes. So let us see question on this. Grain seeds are removed from their stacks by how the grain is separated from the stack. After harvesting, the stacks are beaten against a hard rock substance. Then the grains are separated from the stacks. What is this method called? Separation of stacks from the grain from the stacks. What it is called? It is called threshing. Beating the harvested stacks against a hard rock substance or any wood material is called threshing. By this, grain will be removed from the stacks. Okay, threshing. Next, which process takes place in washing machine while clothes are being dried? So, what is the method called? So in washing machines, cloths are whirled at very high speed so that water will be separated from the cloths. Actually, it is called centrifugation technique. It is not called evaporation. It is centrifugation. By whirling the cloths at very high speed, the water droplets present on the cloths will be separated. That process is called centrifugation. Next, cream is separated from milk by. How do we separate cream from the milk? In generally, milk dairies, they separate cream from the milk before packing them. So for the separation of milk from the cream, they whirl these milk containers at very high speed in a machine called centrifuge. By whirling this milk at very high speed, the cream particles suspended in the milk will be separated and will be floating on the milk, and hence this cream is separated. So that process is called centrifugation. Okay, this is a centrifuge called. This is a machinery used for the separation of cream from the milk. This technique or process is called centrifugation. Okay, next, matrix matching type questions. See here, they have given some separation technique in the column 1, and in the column 2 they have given some mixtures. Now I have to match which technique can be used for the separation of which mixture. See here, often we may get more than one correct matching also. That is why it is called matrix matching. So now let us see here which technique is used for the separation of these mixtures. First, say magnetic separation. By using magnetic separation, which mixture can be separated out of these all? Observe once the mixture is given, sand and sawdust. Both are non-magnetic. So this mixture cannot be separated. And if you say stones from rice, that also not correct. Iodine and sand, not. Sulfur and iron fillings. If you see the D option here, sulfur and iron fillings. Out of these two, iron fillings are magnetic in nature, whereas sulfur is non-magnetic. So the mixture of these two, in which one is magnetic material and other is non-magnetic material, can be separated by the technique called magnetic separation. In this, they use a powerful magnet, so magnetic material can be separated from that. Okay, this is a mixture which can be separated by magnetic separation process. Next, using gravity. Generally, this gravity method is used for the separation of mixtures in which one component is lighter one than the other one. Say, in which mixture the one component is lighter than the other one predominantly. Say, in the first option, we have seen sand and sawdust. In this, clearly we can say sand is heavier component, whereas sawdust is lighter component. Now we can separate this mixture by using gravity method. Okay. Next, third technique, if we see, it is hand picking. Where do we use this hand picking in our general life also? We observe often in our kitchen. Mother will be separating stones from the rice before cooking it. Okay, there they use hand picking. With the hand, they separate these stones present in the rice before cooking it. Okay, stones from the rice can be separated by the method called hand picking. Okay, next, last one, sublimation. Where do we use this sublimation technique? In the separation of mixtures in which one component is sublimable whereas other one is non-sublimable. Then we can use this technique called sublimation. First of all, what is sublimable substance? If we know this, we can understand the sublimation technique. Sublimable substance means the substance which can convert directly from solid state to gaseous state on heating without coming into liquid state is called sublimable substance, and that phenomenon is called sublimation. For example, iodine, camphor, naphthalene, ammonium chloride, these all substances on heating they convert directly from solid state to gaseous state without coming into liquid state. Now here they mentioned iodine and sand, isn't it? So if you heat this mixture, we know sand won't be vaporized. It will be in the solid form itself even though you heat it normal temperatures. Okay, if you heat this mixture, immediately iodine will start converting into gaseous form because iodine is one of the sublimable substances. It converts directly into gaseous state. So those vapors of iodine will be collected and will be cooled. Then we can collect iodine in the solid form again into another container. So sand will be remained back. In this way, we can separate iodine sand mixture by the process called sublimation. Okay. So this is a matching. Now let us see the matching here. Let us draw lines so that we can understand easily. Observe these lines once. Are they correct or not? Magnetic separation for sulfur and iron fillings. Gravity method for separation of sand and sawdust. Hand picking technique for separation of stones from rice. And sublimation we use for the separation of iodine from sand. Check the lines once whether they are given correct or not. Yes? Good. Next question. Now let us see analytical approach questions on this. First one, given below are some physical properties. Physical state, density, size of the constituents. Here are the properties they have given. Now the question let us see. Which of the following physical properties of the constituents are utilized in separating the components of a mixture? Now they're asking here, they mentioned some physical properties of the components of a mixture. Which properties are utilized for the separation of the constituents of a mixture? First one is a physical state. Yes, physical state is used for the separation of certain kinds of mixtures. For example, sand and water. One of them is a liquid, other one is a solid, isn't it? So those can be separated by filtration. So physical state is considered here. Next one, density. So the higher greater denser particles can be separated from lighter denser particles by the method called gravity method. We have studied, isn't it? So density is also one of the property utilized in the separation of mixtures. Next one, size of the constituents. Yes, this is also utilized. For example, uh, insects and the dust particles present in the floor are separated by using a sieve. There, bigger sized particles will remain in the sieve, and small sized particles of floor will be coming down and collected in another container. So there, size of the constraints property is utilized. In this way, these three properties are used in the separation techniques. What will be correct answer? Yes, three. That is the D option is correct because three are correct properties which are used in the separations. Okay. Next, what happens when distilled water is evaporated? So if you take certain distilled water in a dish or china dish or any open plate, if you heat it, what happens then? Water starts evaporating. Then what will be remained on the distilled that dish, china dish or any plate when distilled water is evaporated? Some salt will be left behind, some sand will be left behind, some sugar, or nothing is left behind. So first of all, we have to know what is distilled water so that we can say what will be remained after distillation, after evaporation. We know distilled water means the purest form of water. It contains only water molecules in it, no other impurities present in it. You can say distilled water is purest form of water. Now, if you evaporate this distilled water taken in a container, what will remain? All the water molecules will be evaporated off. Then no substance remains in the container. Or you can say nothing is left behind because it does not contain any impurities in it. Distilled water means pure form of water. It contains no other particles in it, only water molecules. So water molecules will be evaporated off. So nothing will be left behind. That will be correct answer. Got it? Next. One more question given here based upon the diagram. Nisha poured a mixture of salt, iron fillings, sand, and flour into a container. See, so many components are mixed here to form a mixture. What are those? Sand, iron fillings, sand, salt, and a flour are mixed in the container. Now, which of the following substances can be separated from the mixture by using a magnet? So, nearly four components are mixed by Nisha. Now, out of these four, which component can be separated by using a magnet? To be separated by a magnet, what property should be there for the substance? It should be magnetic in nature. What does it mean by magnetic in nature? It should be attracted by the magnet. Observe once the given components in the mixture: salt, iron fillings, sand, and flour. Out of these four, which is magnetic in nature, that can be separated by using magnet. Which is magnetic out of these four? Yes, we know as iron fillings are magnetic in nature, isn't it? Yes, because they will be attracted by the magnet. They will stick to the magnet. Now, if you use a magnet, all the iron fillings will be separated with the magnet. So, iron fillings is the correct answer. Got it? Next one. A glass filled with ice cubes is kept on a table. After some time, water drops were observed sticking to the outside of the glass. Okay, what happened? They have taken a glass with ice cubes filled in it. Say, suppose it is a glass taken with ice cubes. After certain time, if it is kept on the table, if you observe after certain time, some droplets of water will be sticking to the glass on the outer surface. Have you observed this ever? Yes, it happens. Now, which of the statements are true according to this phenomenon they're asking? See the first statement given here. This phenomenon is known as condensation. Is it called condensation? The formation of water droplets on the surface of this glass? Yes, it is called. It is called condensation. It is the correct statement. This proves that water vapor is present in the air. Yes, it is also correct. From where these water droplets are coming? Is water from the inside the glass is being leaked out? No, it is not happening. But from where this water is coming now? These water droplets are coming from the water vapor present in the air. When the water vapor present in the air touches the glass, as glass is being cool, that water vapor will be condensed and converts into small drops of water and stick to the glass. This is what happening. So this proves that water vapor present in the air. So we can say this statement is also true. Okay. Next, third statement. This also observed when a hot object is cold. No, we cannot observe this. When a hot object is cold, it may not happen there condensation. Only with the cool objects it happens condensation. When cool, when a gaseous substance touches a cool object, immediately that vapors will be condensed. So this may not be happened always. Now only 1 and 2 are correct regarding this. There is a condensation of water vapor present in the atmosphere on touching this cooler surface of the glass. Okay, now what will be correct answer? Only 1 and 2 are correct statements. Right? Next, one more question. Observe the following flow chart, which gives the techniques a student adopted to separate the constraints of a mixture. What could be the mixture they're asking? So what happened? A student has taken a mixture. If you observe the options, you can say simply a mixture contains three components. So he tried to separate it with different techniques are shown here. Now, based upon these instructions given in the diagram, we have to identify what are those components in the mixture. So first, mixture undergone filtration process. Then Q is separated from the mixture. So by the filtration process, if a component is separated, what can we say that component? Insoluble solid substance. That can be separated by filtration, isn't it? Yes. Now Q should be a insoluble solid substance. Q is an insoluble solid. Now the remaining substance P is undergone distillation process. So the remaining mixture of two substances is undergone distillation. By the distillation process, R is separated. That means R should be an soluble solid substance. Okay, one should be R should be a soluble solid substance. Then on distillation process, it will be separated, and finally it remained water. So from water, a solid substance is separated by the distillation. Another solid substance is separated by filtration. Now one should be solid substance which is soluble in water, and the other should be solid substance which is insoluble in water, and the third substance itself it is water. Now where these three kinds of substances are mentioned, let us see. If we observe first option, water is given, good, and sand and glass are mentioned as two solids. But out of these two, no solid is soluble in water to separate with the distillation. So this is not correct answer. If you see the second one, water is not at all given, but water is a product in this mixture. After separation, we got water also as one of the components, but water is not mentioned in this at all. So directly we can say it is incorrect statement, incorrect mixture. Now if you see the third one, yes, water is there, correct, and two solids given are stones and rice. If we observe, both are insoluble solid substances only. So, by the distillation, no substance is being, no, by filtration itself, both should be separated. But here, they mentioned only one component is separated, the other component is separated by distillation. Now, this is also not that mixture mentioned. Now, if you observe the fourth option, chalk powder, sugar, and water. So water is a product. Finally, it is shown, and by the filtration we can separate chalk powder because it is a insoluble solid substance. Okay, that is correct. And if you see sugar, sugar is a solid soluble substance. It can be separated only by distillation. So this is also correct. So if you take the mixture of chalk powder, sugar, and water, then we can separate chalk powder by the filtration first, and then sugar by the distillation process, and finally water will be obtained. So now we can say this is the mixture which was taken by the student for the separation in this manner. Got it? Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our YouTube channel AIMS Today for latest updates and recorded videos.